Rivers crisis has been maybe over 2 years. Literally, the honeymoon did not last for long, but it looks like there's been some level of headway. I heard the meeting lasted for about 2 days, but yesterday, the governor of Rivers State, suspended governor of Rivers State, similarly Fubara, and his political godfather, Nyesom Wike, had a meeting with the president. You can see them camaraderie, shaking hands. You know, that's Martin Zamiewul and the governor. That's the Speaker of the House, the Majority Leader, Chinda, who is a minority leader of the House of Reps. So all of this happened yesterday, and after this meeting, they were kind enough to speak to the press as to what has played out so far. Let's take a listen to both gentlemen.
The glory that today is the 26th of June 2025, that this has finally returned to the state. We all agreed to work together with the governor, and the governor also agreed to work together with all of us who are members of the same political family. Yes, just like humans, you have a disagreement, and then you also have a time to also settle your disagreement, and that has been finally concluded today, and we have come to report to Mr. President that is what we have agreed. So for me, everything is over, and enjoy everybody who believe to work with us, to also work together with everybody. That there's no more acrimony, there's nothing to say we're disagreeing. We have all agreed on everything. So thank God. For me, it's a day we have to thank Almighty God.
For me, it's very important that this day has come to be. What we need for the progress of Rivers State is peace. And by the special grace of God this night, with the help of Mr. President and the agreement of the leaders of the states, our leader, peace has returned in Rivers State. We'll do everything within our power to make sure that we sustain it this time around.
So those are comments from who I call the dramatist personnel, the people at the very forefront of the battle of the soul of politics in Rivers State. Let's bring in our guest. He's a political analyst and professor of politics and governance at the Ignatius Ajuru University in Rivers State, Professor Kenneth Nwenke. Prof, good evening and welcome to the program.
Good evening, and I also welcome you for this program this evening.
So, Prof, let's get to it. I'm sure you've heard former Governor Nyesom Wike, the FCT minister. In fact, I was counting the number of times he used the word agree, 4 times, in that particular remark that he gave to the press, the journalists there, and Fubara used it once. But this is not the first time we're seeing an agreement and this resolution in that sense. I think in 2023, December, the president again brokered peace. Rather than giving it closure, it caused another set of conundrum and confusion. What do you think is different with this? And is this peace at last, in your view?
Yeah, I think in politics you disagree to agree. And it has to also involve conflict resolution for the betterment of society. And so all of those is what politics is all about. And so you can agree and disagree at some points. You can disagree and agree at other points. And so it doesn't matter how many times you disagree over a matter, because politics is all about contestation for power, and it's based on interest. And so if your interest changes today, what you think that is truth today may change tomorrow. Nothing in politics is very sacrosanct to say, it cannot change. Of course, that a similar thing may have happened in the past, and a return to status quo. It's something that's expected. When once there is an agreement by all parties, everybody expects to keep to those agreements. And when once there is a disagreement at some point, and then it becomes a challenge, and that's where you begin to have dissenting views and all of those. And today, if they said they have all agreed from what the SCT minister said, it means that they have all agreed today. So you can't be sure about tomorrow. And because anything, interest can change tomorrow. And then don't also forget that we're all human beings. And so human behavior is not something that can be certain. As far as responses to political stimuli are concerned, it is based on environment, it is based on needs, it's based on things that can just evolve. And so that will also determine what next step anybody can take that may also return you to maybe status quo or even worse than your investment.
Let's bring in the other guy, our other guest, Gideon Ojo, regular here on the program. He's a political analyst. Mr. Ojo, thank you so much for coming in. You and I have been on this, literally, maybe perhaps at the very beginning when the first strike came through. And now down the line, I don't know how you feel about seeing what has happened, but all of us know what the level of water that has gone under the bridge. And so are you confident that this will last? River State has a history of predecessors and successors never agreeing. Amechi and Peter Odili never agreed. Wike and Amechi never agreed. This honeymoon literally lasted for just 2-3 months, and then the fireworks is culminating at this point. The governor is still suspended. What do you see from where you sit? Mr. Ojo, that's for you. Oh dear. Okay. It appears maybe a network freezing, Mr. Ojo.
I'm so happy and excited by what came as. Can you hear me?
Yeah, go ahead. We can hear you now.
I said I'm happy that this has happened. I woke up to that news because this is what I've expected Mr. President to do. The two arms of government in Rivers, that's the legislature.
All right, Mr. Ojo, we seem... Mr. Ojo, just a moment.
Days ago, the budget for 2025 was passed on the heels of having a news. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. At some point, we're having issues hearing you clearly. But go ahead now that we can hear you clearly.
So what I'm saying is that the president should be commended and all the dramatics personnel. In my column in The Punch, when I accused the president that he goofed on imposing the state of emergency, I actually said he should have called the assembly members and the governor together and mediate. The one that you are referring to, Jeffrey, the one of December 2023, was an expanded meeting with over 100 people that have vested interest. But this one that happened yesterday was targeted at the key dramatics personnel, the members of the State House of Assembly, the governor and his godfather. And you could see that the godfather said, we have made peace, all is well within us, and I believe it will last. What we are going to see, because many people have speculated that Fubara may not be coming back, that after these 6 months, there will be another 6 months and all of that till 2027. But this has put paid to those rumors that Fubara will not come back. It's obvious that Fubara will be back, maybe sooner than expected, because the constitution did not actually say that the sole administrator should be there for 6 months in the first instance. It just said that's the first period, first stretch. The president may call off the sole administratorship even within the next few days. Now that peace has been made, I'm even expecting him to come up over the weekend to say, sole administrator, thank you for what you have done in the last 3 months. Let the suspended democratic leaders of the state go back to their posts, and then let peace be maintained. Because this has caused the country and even
oh dear. All right, Mr. Ojo. Mr. Ojo, we'll come back to you in just a moment. We seem to be having that glitch yet again. My apologies, Mr. Ojo. Seem to be having the technical issues with your end. But let's, Professor Nweke, let's also can you hazard a guess as to what could be the agreement here? Because I'm looking at the document that was part of the first agreement, how the governor will withdraw cases. Some of these things I'm reading now have been taken over by events. Impeachment procedure. Remember that there was an impeachment process the first time and the second time. This time, the leadership led by me will be recognized, as at that time they said they have resigned. Remuneration issues around they choosing where to sit, issues around the governor representing budget, the names of commissioners that left because of the crisis to be brought back. There shall not be a caretaker committee for the local government. So there are certain things we may never know as part of the conversation, but from where you sit and what you know, what do you think would have been some of the things that would have been agreed upon to broker this peace? The governor had accused Mr. Wike of power control and some other thing, structural control, and he has also accused the governor of betrayal.
What else? In politics, is about resources, both human and material. Simple. So, who controls what? Do you control resources, material resources? Do you control human? That's the structure. All of them, constitute what politics is all about, and the interest. And so, whatever agreements that may have been reached will not be outside the structure and outside resources. It is about deciding how to allocate resources, because politics is all about allocation. Resources, values. How do you, which one goes here and who should take such decisions and all of those, and how. It's about who gets what, how, and when. And so, and it has to do with resources. It has to do with humans. And of course, first of all, who controls what is key. And so if you are controlling as a governor, do you have to consult maybe the godfather before you take certain decisions? You have state executive council who nominates. How many should the governor nominate? How many should the godfather nominate? To carry the interest of the people that are following him. And so that's one. In all appointments, ACs, permanent secretaries, and all of those. What percentage should be given to who and all that? In terms of also contracts, of course, happening. Who should decide which contract or project should be embarked upon, and then who does what? All of those things. So you can't take away the issues around allocation of resources, authoritative allocation of resources, you can't take that out of the context of what has been agreed, of course.
All right, bro. Let's see whether I can get Mr. Ojo, can you hear us clearly now?
I can hear you.
All right, fantastic. Mr. Ojo, featuring prominently in this disagreement is budget issues around local government control. In fact, the governor was vetoed about 6 to 7 times. So my question is always, where is the interest of the people in the mix of all of this, Mr. Ojo?
Exactly my point. I think it's just so unfortunate that while all of this is going on, the interest of the ordinary citizens of Rivers State, they don't amount to much, because those who, the dramatics personnel were more interested in political survival, how to maintain their hegemony on the state, while the ordinary citizen suffers. Let me give you very many instances. There were from the sole administrator, who is not even a member, who is not a who is from Cross River State, is not from River State. So even the just newly approved members of the River State Independent Electoral Commission. Did you know that what I learned was that none of them is actually from River State? The members of River State Independent Electoral Commission that the Senate just approved, was it yesterday or 2 days back? And that goes for even ordinary citizens. A lot of projects that should have been proposed, that should have benefited the ordinary citizens, could not be funded the sole administrator have had to discontinue with some of those projects because he feels that they are not priority projects for him. And he who wears the shoes knows where it pinches. The suspended governor that made the promise that campaigned on certain agenda, because it's out of the way, the sole administrator can cherry pick on what he feels the governor should be doing or should not, what he should be doing or what should not be done. So in all of this, I hope the lessons have been learned and that those who when this suspension is lifted, that the ordinary citizens of Rivers State will be prioritized in terms of their welfare and security.
Okay, let's come to you, Prof. Let's look at some judicial issues, Prof. There is even a case at the Supreme Court. I remember that Ms. Anyeson Wike had actually given it as some of the conditions, I think, at the national level of the party, for there to be a withdrawal of the case that was instituted by the PDP governors against the government as to whether or not the president has a discretional latitude in declaring a state of emergency to suspend elected officials. And that has brought the issue of the sole administrator into question because it's not in the Constitution. Argument as to Supreme Court never making a definite pronouncement or whether the president can take such action or not. That's on one hand as far as that issue is concerned. On the other hand is the fact that the sole administrator also appointed a RISEC who is not somebody from Rivers State. They said there's nothing in the law, but the law is very tricky. If you look at Section 14.4 as well as Section 197 as well as other sections that provided for who can be appointed into the RISEC. Where I'm going to with the question is to the effect that what do you think happens now that political resolution has come as against the legal debate?
For me, if you ask me, the legal debate should be on as to whether the president has the powers to suspend democratic structures, not just the executive arm of government, but the legislative arm of government. The democratic structures were actually suspended, and that for me is an aberration. And there's no part of the Constitution that allows that to happen. And we also can deduce from precedents of previous state of emergencies. And again, for me, I have always said, legally speaking, I do not see anything that would justify what the president has done. But politically speaking, it may have saved the governor from being impeached because understand to be challenged on this. Of course, the FCT minister had said it, severally. The governor would have been impeached by hook or crook, that's, and then the state would have been at war. And so what the president had done by suspending the democratic structures, for me, was to avert imminent war that would have been unleashed on the state. But on the legal side, I do not see the need for that to have happened. And so on the legal debate, of course, those who have gone to court, Supreme Court, to challenge that, I want to encourage those who have gone to court to allow the matter to subsist, so that that will add to enrich our legal lexicon, and then the legal debate around state of emergencies. Because how do we want to look at all of this? If I say that politically speaking, what Mr. President had done had saved the governor and had saved Rivers people from the effect of war that would have been unleashed on them. But on the legal side, that it negates the provisions of the Constitution. So let it be tested there, so that at the end of the day, this will be lesson for all of us who would have learned a lot. I would have also enriched the legal literature around state of emergencies and all of those. Otherwise, then any other person could attempt it tomorrow or not attempt it. So that can be going on one side, even if they have been able to politically resolve their differences. So those who have gone to court to challenge those, for me, it was not Governor Fubara, who went to court to challenge that. There may be civil society organizations who are in court, it may be PDP Governors Forum who are in court, and all of those. For me, and then for the benefit of the students I teach, and then for purposes of research and the political development of Nigeria, those litigations should go on so that a lot of people will learn a lot, will be enriched in our literature. And that's what I can say, regarding that.
All right, let's begin to wind down. Mr. Ojo, your last thought on this, and that same question as to the legal part of this argument. The political angle seems to have been resolved, but he's saying let's follow through the legal process to the end, so that once and for all, the Supreme Court will make a pronouncement whether the president can actually suspend elected officials like Olusegun Obasanjo did, like President Bola Tinubu has done, which has been controversial. Do you agree that let them just follow through with the case, because it's a difficult case before the Supreme Court?
As Prof said, this was not a suit filed by either the suspended governor or deputy governor or the lawmakers. It's by the civil society. So there's that tendency for them to see it through, provided that pressure is not mounted on them to withdraw. Because I also do know the political elite will stop at nothing. They might actually pressure those civil society ROS to go and withdraw that suit in the interest of peace. When you are reading out the 8-point agenda, 8-point resolution of December 2023, part of it was that all suits in court should be withdrawn. But while the governor respected that, the lawmaker did not do that. And they used it against him. And so what I expect is that the most important thing is, as the right lesson being learned by everyone, as the president learned the right lesson because he has received a lot of knocks, even from me, because I wrote against it in my column in The Punch, that he goofed. And I know he has the power to make a pronouncement on state of emergency, but the state of emergency of Section 305 or thereabout does not connote that he has to suspend elected representatives of the people. The good Lord Jonathan did declare state of emergency in Adamawa, Yobe, and Borno in 2013 or 2014. He never suspended the governor or the state house of assembly, and that, in my own contemplation, is what the law expected. That yes, you can declare state of emergency, but you need not suspend elected representative of the people, as President Obasanjo did and as President Tinubu has done. But it would be very interesting if the civil society organizations that have gone to court can see it through to the apex court and have a definitive pronouncement on it.
Okay. Mr. Joseph, thank you so much. I think the PDP governors actually instituted that suit, and it was part of the request of Nyesom Wike for them to pull out or withdraw that suit. One must thank you both gentlemen for bringing perspective to this conversation. Professor Kenneth Nweke is a political analyst and professor of politics and governance at Ignatius Ajuru University in Rivers State, as well as Mr. Jide Ojo, a regular right here on the program, political analyst and public affairs analyst. Gentlemen, thank you so much for coming on the program. We appreciate it.